Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to install a B&M star shifter. I'm going to be putting it in this Omega, the Oldsmobile Omega, better known as the Nova clone. I got this car for my son and it had a stick in it, so we're going to put this B&M shifter in here. We swapped it already over to an automatic, so I still need to pull out the clutch pedal and stuff, but let me give you a quick rundown of what we're going to do. We're going to disconnect the linkage. I've already cut this all up. The stick shifter was up there. This is going to go back here, and obviously you're going to have to patch in, reupholster, whatever. But this video is just going to show you how to install it and how to put it together, because it comes apart in the box with that big bag. For this particular car, I had to make a adapter plate. You may have to make one, I don't know. Hopefully you don't. Most cars you don't, but this particular car has that big hub right there where the transmission comes in for the cross members, so I had to make this adapter plate, and pretty much all I did was just set the B&M shifter on top of this piece of steel that I cut out, pretty thick, pretty solid, and lined up the holes, drilled those, and then I just drilled 4 mounting bolts for it, so you'll see that on there, but this is not for your situation probably. So the first thing we're going to do is I went ahead and stuck the handle on it. Other than that, it comes just like this. Everything apart, which I'm sure if you have one, you've already opened the box and went, what the heck, this is a lot. But it's actually pretty simple. I'm going to be using this one here for Chevy, and this one here. This black pin comes in the kit with this cotter key. I've just already stuck it in there. It's going to go on the transmission where your original shifter is, where the shifting linkage comes on the left side, driver's side of the transmission. I'll show you how to install that. All the other brackets that it comes with, Dodge, Ford, etc. Actually, I don't know if there's any Dodge parts in here. They look like all Ford, but oh yeah, there is. And we're not going to be using any of these. We don't need any of that stuff for GM. So if you're doing GM, this is what you're going to be doing. So let's start off by taking the shifter, turning it on its right side. You'll see this slide right here. This slide right here is for the neutral safety switch, which comes in the bag, and the backup light switch, and that is just the mechanism that slides on the two of them. So let me show you how to install these. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take, and they're the same. You're probably looking right now, which one's neutral safety switch? They're actually identical. All they do is just send a circuit or a signal through once this gets pushed down and applies the juice from here to here or vice versa, I'm not sure. And we're going to stack these is all we're going to do. Well, stack them, but there's going to be a space in between. One's going to go up underneath and one's going to go on top. And you can decide which holes that you want it on, here or here. The standard GM is here, and I believe Ford is back here. So we're going to stack one there and one directly underneath it in the same situation. We're going to take a couple of these little small thin bolts here with the lock washers and nuts. So let me go ahead and poke those through and install those. Okay, so we have those installed on the slide plate, and as you can see, I just ran the bolt straight through from the back over to the front. Don't run them through the other way. I don't know where the paperwork is for this, but if it tells you to run them through the other way, don't do it, because the cable is going to be so close to that area. If it moves up or down, it shouldn't, but if it does, it can bind it. Just put them on the outside. There's plenty of room. And if the case, and the case has all kinds of room, but for some reason if you have to move it left or right because you don't have the room, then you can just whack those off, you know, cut them off with a Sawzall, snap them with a pair of vice grips, whatever. The lock washers, when you tighten these down, as soon as you see that lock washer collapse, stop, because it'll go down further. You don't want to crack the plastic. It cracks extremely easy. And then when it gets hot from being in reverse too long or holding the brakes too long, they can melt down. If you notice on the right, there's two little slides where the second bolt goes in. There's a slide. That's for wear. Adjust these all the way down, and that way you'll have extra later when there's wear. Okay, so now we're going to take the slide here, and all that does is lift up one or the other for reverse or neutral, and we're going to slide that over top like that. The neutral safety switch, you'll know exactly which one to put it on. Like I said, they're the same, but you'll know which one because it's the first one to get connected. When you drop down, you see how that pin just opened right there? And the other pin sits further back, so that's going to be reversed. So clearly you'll know which one it is. The first one that drops down when it slides is going to be reverse, I'm sorry. And then the second one that drops, which is going to be on the back, will be the neutral safety switch. So we got that in. Inside the bag is this little rod. The way it works is it slides on the back of that slide, just like that. But do not connect this yet. You don't want that connected until you get your cable on, because this needs to go on top. You'll notice the bend goes up. There's a reason for that, so it clears the cable. So make sure that we hook that up second. So next, what we're going to do now is go ahead and hook up the cable. Okay, so we got the cable hooked up now. And again, I put that rod on afterwards, as you can see, and it takes that little clip right there. I think there's another one in the bag. I could probably show you a little clearer. It always comes with extra stuff. Should be one for the bottom. That little metal clip right there goes on the shifting cable. And then you put the arm on it for the neutral safety switch in the reverse and put your clip on it. The 7/16 bolt here, make sure you put a lock washer in there. Again, once it collapses, stop. Don't over tighten anything in here. This thing will try to move on you. Just rotate your cable forward as you do it. I don't know why B&M didn't put a little indentation there that it could slide into so it doesn't rock, but that's what they do. So now when we rotate it back and forth, you can see right now it's back. Let me see if I can do this left-handed. All the way forward, we're in park, so this switch here will light up once it's powered here, and then that'll go to our neutral safety switch, and then once it's powered here, this will go to our brake lamp. Our reverse lamp, I'm sorry, and which will light that up. So next, I'm going to go ahead and put my adapter plate on. Again, you probably won't need it. You can just use the 4 bolt holes that are on there to bolt it straight down to the body. Just this particular car, I need it. And honestly, I probably could have moved it up forward and it would have been fine and sat flat. But my boy wanted it back further. He wanted to be able to grab it back here by more by his waist than way up there by the floor, which I prefer up by the floor, but I'm not going to be driving this thing, so it's all him. So okay, so let me put my adapter plate on it. I won't take a video of that. All I'm going to do is install it, and then we'll get into the car. Okay, so my adapter plate's on. We're ready to go. If you have to make an adapter plate, essentially all it is that something that, you know, the regular bolt holes that mount to the floorboard are simply mounting to my adapter plate, just a piece of steel with holes in it. And so all I've done is just put those bolt holes there, and then I've made bolt holes for the adapter plate to bolt to the body instead. And then of course I had to notch this out for the cable to come down because it's going to go on an angle there, which I may still have to drill that in the car. I haven't checked. So essentially, if you're not sure, and I'm sure if you bought this kit you probably know what an adapter plate is, but if you don't know, all it means is that where this connects to, the B&M shifter connects to the floorboard, is not going to work for me. But this flat piece of steel wheel, it was just in such a weird spot to bolt that it would have been on a weird angle. And I could have put spacers underneath it so it wouldn't rock, but this is just more solid for me, and this is what I want. I don't know how he's going to be slamming it into gear and stuff, so I just want it to last a while. So the grease that's on there, I try my hardest not to move that because they put that in the spots where it's needed. So don't wipe that grease off. Don't think it's dirty. I'm sure you wouldn't. But anyway, okay, let's go to the car. Okay, so here we go. Let me grab my glasses here. I'm not big on safety goggles, and I don't need these for safety goggles. If you guys haven't seen these before, maybe I ought to put a link on the website for these for you. I mean on the YouTube account or channel. They got little clips right there. See, they got lights on them on both sides. So, I don't know, maybe you've seen these, maybe you haven't, but they work perfect no matter where you look. And they're cheap. They're only about 10 bucks. So, I slide those on so that I can see better. But in this case, it's so that you can see better too. So, except for my phone is now going to show a glare, but so hopefully, I don't know, hopefully that don't mess you up. But see, no matter where I look, there's those glasses. So, get a pair. Anyway, so I've drilled my holes here, and you can see where other things have went through. So I went on here. This is where that cross member is I was telling you about that goes up and over. It really screws me up. And back here too is much higher than here. So that's why I have my adapter plate to sit just like that. And this is what I was talking about. It sits back just a little bit further for him, rather than up here where the original shifter was. But this is where he was comfortable. He came in here and sat down, and just turning 16, I wanted him to be comfortable in what he wanted. So Okay, so now I'm just going to run those bolts up. There's so much room on both sides of these. You'll lose a lot of change over the years in here. It's like a piggy bank. There's so much room that I'm not even going to worry about the bolts sticking up. And the drive line is directly underneath here, so I am worried about the nuts or the threads sticking down. So rather than drop the drive line, reach up under it, and grind these off, I'm just going to run the bolts up this way and put the nuts here. Because again, there's so much room. I have all the room in the world that I need for there. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me get that mounted, then we'll get that cable ran through there. I'll show you how to run that around the transmission. You don't want to go around the bottom of the transmission, but you need to go up and back and over the tail shaft and back. The reason you do that is so that you're away from the exhaust, you're away from the ground, and you're away from, you know, heat and dragging, etc. So I'll show you better when we get up under the car. So let me get these bolted in. 4 bolts, 4 nuts, 4 lock washers, and again, lock washers are made to hold it in place. You don't need to crank stuff down with those. Just get it down tight. If they collapse, they're good. And then we'll get underneath. Okay, so now I got it bolted in with my adapter plate. So now we're going to put this on. And you're just going to line up the holes here. There's a bolt here and a bolt here. And then stick this on. But don't place those bolts in there yet. Put this piece on, the metal and the rubber. And that just simply just snaps over top bolt, just like that. And those 8 bolts will go around the outside. Now this here I got backwards. Alrighty. We're going to flip that around, and then I'm going to show you the little keeper that you need to screw into this hole right here. And that's where you're going to put your sticker too. But don't put your sticker on there until you put this, screw this little dial in. Let's see, where is it? Alright, where did I lay it? I had it in the car. This little dial here needs to be screwed in there, and then after you shove it into park, this will point at park, and that's when you're going to put the sticker on there. So let me show you that too real quick before we go under. Okay, so we got the shifter completely installed in here. So again, you look down there at that slider that you put on there for that neutral safety switch, and this is going to screw into there, and then we'll place the sticker along here. But don't place that sticker again until you get this in, because it may be off just a hair. Okay, there you have it. Now that little keeper is in. So I was going to tell you, when you put these screws in all the way around here, just put this first left one in and this back right one in first, because those are the ones that actually hold down the case. And then and only screw them down about halfway, and go with all of them about halfway, so you can keep that rubber lined up. So then we have our sticker. We're waiting on our sticker till the end. The reason is because we want to make sure the linkage is correct down there before we go shoving it. Keep in mind, you'll always have another position for this if you only have a 3-speed transmission. So you don't want an area after low that that clicks again. You don't want that on your sticker, and these are kind of hard to peel back off and use again. So take my word for it. Line up the cable on the transmission first, come back in here and put it where it is. So that way you don't have it. Highway, get out of here. What are you doing? Come on, out. Damn dog wants to get involved with everything. So, okay, let's get up underneath. Okay, here we are up under the car. I've taken the old linkage off here, the 2 bolts there you'll see on yours. The shifter linkage right there, I believe is a 9/16. You're going to be pulling that nut off right there, and this little linkage here, I put that threaded end on there with just a keeper. It's in your package. That's going to go on there. Then you're going to drop these 2 pan bolts right here, the first one and the second one, and you're going to take this bracket here, and you're going to put it on your pan bolts just like that. The first bolt here, we'll call this first, this second. The first one will have the slider part on it, the oval part, so you can slide it if you need to adjust it. But in this case, you're not going to need to. And then the middle hole right here, you can see the back of my finger hitting it. That one is going to be on the second bolt. And I believe those are a 1/2 inch. They may be 9/16. Then the cable's going to run through this hole here, of course. So let's get started by taking that old linkage off, or shifter knob off. Okay, so now I have this shifter linkage on here. It was a 9/16. I think I told you 5/8. And the pan bolts were a 1/2 inch. I've taken those 2 off. Now this shifter linkage, shove that all the way forward towards the front of the car. That's park. All the way backwards will be low, and everything else in between. Now in your package, you probably noticed these little spacers. You need these spacers to come away from that pan because of this lip right here.
And also in your package came 2 extra bolts. Those bolts are to put inside the pan because if you look, they're just a little bit longer, and that's to make up the room of the spacer. So let's go ahead and shove that linkage bar on. Okay, so now we have that on. Again, we're not using these holes up here anymore. Stick the bolts back in there if you want so you have them for a later date, but you don't need them for this. And remember, this lip needs to come out. Now, to me, this entire process, this is the most critical part of the entire process to me. And the reason is because a lot of people put these in and they end up having transmission leaks because they over tighten the pan. A lot of people don't know how tight to get a pan. So let me make that clear to you right now. Here's your ratchet. Hold the ratchet in your hand just like this and crank it like that. Don't extend it way out here and crank on it. Hold it just like that and crank it. That's as tight as you get a pan bolt. You don't get it any tighter than that. You hold it just like that, as tight as you can. Right there. And right there. Notice the handle is way out there. That's exactly how you tighten a pan bolt. If you don't do it that way and you over tighten it, you will smash that gasket more and it will leak. And you'll have a transmission problem. And if it leaks a little bit, you don't notice it, a little here, a little there, eventually the transmission goes out. So do yourself a favor and do not over tighten these bolts. If you're not exactly sure, just snug them up, and if you see a leak, then snug it up a little bit more. But it's better to do it that way. I'd rather see you do it right, but if you're not sure, you can look up the specs as well. And I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's right around 15 to 17 pounds. It's not very much, and this is why people have transmission pan leaks, because they always over tighten them. So all right, we got that on. Let's go ahead and take our cable here. Thread the first bolt nut all the way off, take it off, and we'll slide it through our hole right here. Okay, so now what I've done is I popped off that little black piece there and I've threaded it on here. I like to go down just a few threads so that if it ever breaks, I can do it again. The adjustment is not here, it's back here. So go down just a little bit to where it's sticking out. Then push your cable up there as far as you can and tighten up this back nut first, to where this linkage is not moving, it's still in park. And tighten up the back linkage with a wrench and just get it kind of snug to where everything's kind of, you can see how it's just kind of wiggling still, it's kind of loose. And then crank this one down tight up against there. Make sure you have a nut, lock washer, nut, and make sure that you put your dust covers back on. This will prolong the life of your cable. A little bit of dust or oil in there and it really ruins it. Well, oil probably won't, but dust will. So that's it. Now we'll go back up there, we'll throw it into reverse, and we'll put our sticker on.
Okay, so now you can see why I put it in reverse, because park is so long and you don't know where it's going to land. So, or not reverse, I'm sorry, reverse. So what I do is I come back and I come in, I know one back is reverse, so I go into reverse, then I place my sticker on there. And this will twist one way or the other a little bit. It's a little tight, but it'll move out of your way. Place the sticker there on reverse, and then point it at reverse, and then you'll have every drive, or every gear after that. There's neutral, there's drive, second, whoops, and low. And I have an extra low, so there you go. That's everything. I'm back in park. So I'm taking this thing for a drive, and come back and I'll patch up my hole. We're going to recarpet this car anyway, so I'm just going to rivet some tin down there about the same thickness as the floorboard, and I'll be good. So I hope this video helped you out. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. And that's it. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.